Am I the asshole for leaving my husband at the hospital after he refused to be in the delivery room with me?
Huh. I'm sure he has a perfectly reasonable, reason for that.
Yeah.
But let's hear her out.
This happened 2 months ago, but it's still causing major friction in my family, so I need some outside opinions. I, 29 female, and my husband, Jake, 32 male, have been together for 6 years, married for 3. We were both ecstatic when we found out we were expecting our first child. Pregnancy was really tough for me, though. I had severe morning sickness, gestational diabetes, and was generally miserable. But Jake was supportive and sweet the whole way through, which made it bearable. As we got closer to my due date, we discussed birth plans. I was adamant that I wanted Jake in the delivery room. I needed his support, and he had always agreed. However, a few weeks before my due date, Jake started acting strange. He was distant, distracted, and wouldn't engage in any baby-related activities or discussions. I thought he was just anxious about becoming a dad, so I didn't press him too much. The day I went into labor, Jake drove me to the hospital, but seemed off. He was quiet and kept checking his phone. When we got there, he pulled the nurse aside and spoke to her privately. She came back and told me Jake wouldn't be in the delivery room because he was, quote, uncomfortable with blood and medical procedures. I was stunned. He had never mentioned this before. I begged him to stay, told him I needed him, but he just kept saying, quote, I can't do this. I was heartbroken and furious, but I didn't have too much time to dwell on it as my contractions were getting closer and stronger. Jake said he would be in the waiting room and kissed me on the forehead before leaving. I was left alone, crying and feeling utterly abandoned. Labor was long, painful, and traumatic. I was alone the entire time, except for the medical staff. When our son was finally born, I was exhausted, emotionally and physically. The nurse handed me my son, and all I felt was a deep sadness that Jake wasn't there to share in this moment. After I was taken to a recovery room, I asked the nurse to go get Jake. She came back and she said he had left the hospital hours ago.
Bro, no.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
I called him repeatedly, but he didn't answer.
That is wild. I had like a shred of understanding. Like, look, if you're very squeamish and like childbirth is too icky for you, like I hear that, like I'll hold some space for that, but also childbirth is an incredibly scary, exhausting experience, and that's when your wife needs you the most. Maybe just like suck it up a little bit and be there. But not just that, he was gone.
What if something would have gone wrong?
Yeah.
What if like literally she needed someone to come in and be like a proxy medical decision maker?
Yeah, lots of stuff can happen.
Oh my
in the
God.
delivery room.
We're not done.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sick. I'm sweating.
That sucks.
Finally, I sent him a text saying I was done and he could find his own way home. I didn't see him until the next day. He showed up at the hospital with flowers and an apology, saying he had panicked and needed some air. He claimed he had gone home to shower and change and had fallen asleep, which I didn't buy for a second. I told him I didn't believe him. I was overwhelmed with anger and hurt, and I told him he had let me down in the worst way possible. He kept apologizing, saying he knew he'd messed up and he would do anything to make it right. I didn't want him near me or our son at that moment, so I asked him to leave. He tried to protest, but I told him I needed time to process everything. He left, and I spent the rest of my hospital stay alone with my baby, trying to grapple with the enormity of what had happened. Since then, Jake has been trying to make amends. He's been taking parenting classes, attending therapy, and is constantly trying to be present and supportive. But I can't shake the feeling of betrayal. He abandoned me at one of the most vulnerable moments of my life. Every time I look at him, I remember being alone in that delivery room, terrified and in pain, wondering why the person who promised to be by my side wasn't there. My family is split. Some think that I'm being too hard on Jake, that he made a mistake and is clearly remorseful. They say he's a good father and partner otherwise, and I should focus on moving forward for the sake of our child. Others think that what he did was unforgivable and I should leave him. They believe I'll never truly trust him again, and that's no foundation for a marriage. I'm torn. I still do love him, and I know he loves me and our son, but a part of me wonders if I'll ever get over this. Was it just a moment of weakness on his part, or a sign of something deeper that I can't overlook? So, am I the asshole for leaving him at the hospital and now considering leaving him for good? We don't have an official update from what I'm seeing. However, we have a lot of comments from OP.
Oh.
A lot.
Is she running defense?
Let's see what the top comment is first before we really get into this. Top comment. The thing is, where did he disappear to? He totally left the hospital. I don't know if I'd be able to trust him. And what if a serious issue arises in the future? Hopefully not, because will he abandon you then and just apologize again? OP replies, like apologies would make it all go away. Apologies that seemed very half-hearted, too. What if you would have died in labor is the main thing I keep thinking about in this situation. You could have ended up in a coma. It could have been an emergency C-section, and he would have been gone for all of that.
Right.
There is a comment, someone goes, not the asshole. Only you know the details of what your marriage is truly like. But in your shoes, I'd have given the nurse a note to give him in the hospital that he was to be completely moved out before baby and I came home. What he did is unforgivable. And it lets you know that in the future, when your health and safety are on the line, he won't be there. OP responds, exactly how I feel. Something fishy is going on, and I know it.
I mean, I wouldn't jump to cheating. I think I'm not getting cheating vibes, but I guess it's always possible.
So there's a lot of people calling our writer here dramatic, saying that she's overreacting because it was my first child. That's what she says. I called to talk to his mom, and all she said is I was overreacting because it was my first child.
Come on.
What?
Come on.
My own mom keeps saying I'm being dramatic. Ooh, a lot of comments again. Someone does go, excellent point. With the phone checking and then the disappearing act, he might be cheating. So I'm not alone in that. Okay. Feel good about that. Or someone had his ear about this pregnancy, fatherhood, or OP had been bending it for weeks leading up to when she went into labor. She said he started acting weird weeks before. OP responds, yes, like he was absent-minded. I'll repeat myself like thrice, sometimes to get his attention. He changed his password and started staring into his phone a lot. My mama said it was the pregnancy hormones and I should let it go, but I guess I was right anyways. Right about what?
Right about what?
Right about what? What do we have going on here?
Yeah, changing a password, it's a little sus.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So someone goes, right, now he's taking parenting classes and therapy when he knew damn well long before labor and delivery that he couldn't handle it. OP goes, doing everything to make me not leave. Once I'm strong enough, I'm moving states.
Whoa.
We're having rapid development over here.
Whoa. Okay, so she suspects her husband of cheating now.
I'm thinking so. Okay, this comment is very sus. Very sus. So someone goes, that's the thing. He just didn't even wait outside. He left and didn't even engage until the next day. What was he doing? Someone goes, call me old and cynical, but it sounds like he was cheating. OP responds, I'm old and cynical too then, because that's the only explanation. It took me giving birth to realize this man absolutely hates me.
Oh, this is escalating.
And then OP goes, he probably had to choose between me and somebody and chose her. Nothing else seems like an answer enough to me. When he felt guilty, that's when he decided to come back. Wow. No official update yet, but I mean, commenting as recent as, 4 days ago. So, wow. Okay.
Sad.
Very sad. And also another one where I'm like, I selfishly need an update for my own selfish needs. Please update me.
I feel like whatever update we're going to get is just going to make us more sad. I feel like
I know.
I don't see how this could have a happy ending. It seems like she made up her mind, and I don't think any evidence is going to change her mind at this point. Like, it seems like she's pretty set.
I know.
Am I the asshole for refusing to let my sister wear white to my wedding and kicking her out when she showed up in it? I, 27 female, got married 2 weeks ago, and it was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My sister, 31 female, who I have a complicated relationship with, decided to test me in the worst way possible.
Oh, get her ass out of there.
We've never been close. She's always tried to one-up me, even during family events. It's exhausting, but I figured she'd at least behave at my wedding. Months ago, when I sent out the dress code, I made it very clear, no one wears white but me. It wasn't negotiable. My sister gave me attitude about it, saying I was being insecure and that no one cares about tradition anymore. I told her that whether or not she agreed, she needed to respect it. The morning of the wedding, she showed up wearing a floor-length lace white dress.
Oh my God! Get her out!
It was practically a bridal gown. My heart dropped, and I straight up asked her what the hell she was thinking. And she said, it's not that white. And besides, no one will care.
What did I say? Cream or fucking eggshell? Did I say that? Every time! Oh my God.
I told her that if she didn't change, she wasn't welcome. She threw a tantrum about how I was ruining her day and stormed off, telling everyone I was a bridezilla.
I'm sorry. Go back.
Yeah, sure, I can.
Yeah, run it back.
She told everyone I was ruining her day.
Her day?
Mm-hmm.
What day is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some family members told me to let it slide because she's just like that.
And there's
always
oh my
family,
God.
man, every time.
But I was done, so I told the staff not to let her back in unless she changed, and she never came back. And now she's telling everyone I ruined the relationship for good. My parents are mad, saying I should have just ignored her because it's only a dress, but I feel like this was a deliberate choice to sabotage my day. My husband agrees with me, but some family is still pissed. Am I the asshole for telling my wife I'm done with her emergency calls and leaving her stranded? I, 32 male, have been married to my wife, 29 female, for 4 years, and we have a 3-year-old son. She's not a bad person, but she's constantly in a state of chaos, and every little thing becomes my problem. No exaggeration. I get these emergency calls multiple times a week. Flat tire, call me at work. Forget her wallet, call me. Grocery store out of her favorite oat milk, blow up my phone like the world's ending.
Eesh.
It's relentless. I work full time and do my fair share at home with our son. Diaper duty, bedtime stories, cooking, cleaning, you name it. But these crises are killing me. I've told her before that unless it's a real emergency, like someone's bleeding or stuck on a highway at night, she needs to figure it out. I don't have the bandwidth to drop everything constantly. The last straw came 2 days ago. I had to take my son to the doctor because he had an ear infection, and I was already running on fumes. While I was in the waiting room with a fussy toddler, she calls me in a panic because she locked herself out of her car in front of a Target 5 minutes from home. I told her, I can't leave. You'll have to call someone to pop the window. She freaked out, saying that would cost too much. She didn't bring enough cash, and I was being unreasonable. I stayed firm, and I said she needed to figure it out, and I hung up. When I got home, she was furious. She said the guy charged her $150, and I should have come to help her because she didn't think to grab her wallet. I told her point blank, I'm done rescuing you from things you can easily handle. You need to stop acting like everything is a disaster. Now she's barely speaking to me, acting like I'm the villain for not dropping everything for her again. My brother thinks I was being harsh, but my mom said I was right to set boundaries.
Your mom don't like that anyway.
Am I the asshole for leaving her stranded this time?